It just got very real for the New York Jets, as there has been a lot of trade discussions surrounding one of the best players on this team for a while now, and with new general manager Darren Mougey taking over and the Jets being 0-3 on the season, with a lot more stuff going on around the NFL, it is now very much the time to have the discussion that many have been wondering about even before this season begun, as now there is a clear answer to a lot of trade questions surrounding the Jets, and one thing is clear: we are looking at a very, very high likelihood of one of the best players on the Jets leaving the team in the coming weeks. We're going to go over that and a lot more as well, so make sure to stay tuned. But guys, we have a lot to go over, but before we do that, if you're part of that 65% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Jets videos so you do not miss a single New York Jets update. I know the season has not started the way we wanted it to. There were 2 good games the Jets played that they ultimately lost, and there still is a long season ahead of us, 14 more games to play. The Jets do still have a chance to turn everything around. Obviously, it feels unlikely, but never doubt them. We have seen some good moments and some stuff that we can like. But jumping into the video, there is a lot to go over on the team. As we know, when new general manager Darren Mougey took over, players of past generations had their careers looking a little bit different. They weren't drafted by Mougey and this organization, so really what we were seeing was a world where things would change. We would definitely see the Jets move into different situations, have things really, really switch, and see them kind of bring in their own guys. We've seen that already start. Aaron Rodgers leaving and replacing him with Justin Fields, bringing in a few of their own guys as well on the outside of that as well. Kind of getting rid of some of the veterans or just not re-signing some of the veterans, and ultimately deciding to move forwards with a completely different core. The Jets are going through a rebuild, and it is the correct decision to go through this rebuild, but there is a lot of steps to it. Obviously, this is year 1 of a complete revamping, and if we do follow that way that the Detroit Lions did things, it should be the only really terrible year the Jets see. Now, the Jets obviously still have time to turn it around. Look, at the end of the day, frankly, there's still time. There is still time for the Jets to really change things here, because they can go out there. They can still shock some teams. They're playing the 0-3 Dolphins. They have a chance to make some changes. But in regards to trades, nothing has shined brighter than Breece Hall. Hall has been mentioned in trade talks for a very long time now. Through the offseason, there was talks of it. He ultimately was not traded and is suiting up for the Jets. And it has been their premier running back. But there has been a lot of questions surrounding him and surrounding trades coming in the next couple of days. And things have really recently hit a high point in that. As mentioned by Timothy Rapp of Bleacher Report, Arizona Cardinals running back James Conner will be reportedly missing the rest of the season after suffering an ankle injury during Sunday's 16-15 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Conner had to be carted off the field after suffering the injury, and the 30-year-old Conner has been an important fixture for Arizona's offense in recent years, with back-to-back seasons rushing for over 1,000 yards and 18 total touchdowns between 2023 and 2024 seasons. In his first 4 seasons with the Cardinals, he's never rushed for less than 750 yards. As for the Cardinals, the team came into Week 2 undefeated and looking to build on high expectations for the 2025 season. Losing Conner for the rest of the season will somewhat damper those hopes. So, how do you fix that? As Sports Illustrated mentions, the best trade option for the Cardinals to explore is New York Jets running back Breece Hall. Hall has been mixed in trade rumors for the Jets for months because they have a solid running back room behind him and because his contract runs out at the end of the season. With the Jets sitting at 0-3 on the year, they could be much more inclined to trade an expiring playmaker like Hall to add some draft capital. And the big thing here, guys, it's not hidden. We're not going to dance around. It's the contract situation. Breece Hall's on an expiring deal. He's going to be 25 years old. He's going to be looking for a contract extension, one that's going to pay him around $12-ish million, something around what we saw James Cook get paid by the Buffalo Bills. So when we understand that, when we look at this whole situation, we do see a world where Breece Hall effectively is going to be looking for a big-time deal. The Jets, the only way it makes sense to pay Breece Hall that big-time deal is if you know he's going to be with the team for the long haul and if you're going to be winning, or else paying a running back doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, if Breece was a top-tier running back, a Christian McCaffrey, a Saquon Barkley, yeah, you go out and pay him. But even though he looked like he was going to become that in his rookie season before the torn ACL, we haven't exactly seen him hit that ceiling that we initially thought he was going to have. That week 1, he looked excellent. He really looked like he was back to normal Breece. But after that, things have not looked as good. They haven't been terrible. It's not like Breece Hall's having a bad year. But when we look at James Conner, who rushed 32 times for 95 yards, with 3 yards per attempt and 1 touchdown, it wasn't the best season for Conner. But also the fact that his name is James Earl Connor is funny because, James Earl Jones, that stuff, but not the point. And on top of that, you see Breece Hall has rushed 38 times for 157 yards. That's 4.1 yards per average. Hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but obviously is a very solid running back. The Cardinals need a running back. Obviously, Trey Benson's there. We're not pretending like he's not. Benson is someone who has 125 yards and 6 yards per attempt, so he's looking good so far. But teams don't usually use a bell cow running back. And outside of that, they can really create a completely just two-headed monster between Benson and Breece Hall to use over this season as a team that's still very good, that still has high expectations to succeed. So when we consider that, it is something we really have to understand. For the Jets, it makes sense to go out there and sort of decide, hey, basically trading James Conner trading for someone to kind of help Trey Benson makes a lot of sense to sort of add on, prevent the bell cow situation with Benson. And then the Cardinals can kind of decide, like, all right, well, maybe if we don't want to pay Breece Hall, we can just send out some draft capital for him, succeed on the year, and then figure out what to do with Breece later. Or decide ultimately that they like Breece better and they decide, all right, let's trade Trey Benson. Let's pay Breece and trade Benson. That's another real option that they have. Breece is no stranger to playing out on the west side of things. He went to USC for college, so he'd be back out there in the warm weather. And it does make some sense to go out there and consider this move if you're the Jets as well, when you just look at everything the Jets have gone through up to this point this season. I mean, as Sports Illustrated mentioned, for the Cardinals, this would add a very talented running back to work alongside Trey Benson. Hall could be re-signed to a new deal after the season as he's only getting better at this stage of his career. It might take a few mid-round draft picks, but it would seemingly be worth it for the Cardinals. And Hall is in the final year of his rookie deal. He was a 2022 second-round pick, and he had a modest $4.34 million cap hit in 2025. He's scheduled to hit unrestricted free agency in 2026 unless GM Darren Mougey commits real dollars soon to him by extending him. The franchise risks watching a premium runner walk for a compensatory pick, but why not to try to get more for him now, which really is the thing that we have to consider. And on top of that, when we just look at all that, when we look at everything we've seen, it does make a lot of sense to go out there and move on just based off of all this conversation. So you can go out there and you could sort of figure out what you want to do next. And the thing is, there's more teams with interest. As Heavy Sports mentioned, if you're Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears, there's one huge offensive issue glaring in your face: the lack of a run game. Through 3 games, the Bears' rushing attack has been a negative in expected points added per rush with negative .0 or 0.11 with a success rate of just over 40%. The team's overall rushing yardage is in a respectable range, 340 yards on 82 attempts and 4.1 yards per carry. But those paying close attention to Chicago's offense know the efficiency flags are real. Johnson can scheme with the best of them, but having a more powerful and dynamic back than DeAndre Swift would certainly help. Meanwhile, in New York, the 0-3 Jets have had a disappointing start to the season. If the losses continue to pile up, they may start trading players for more draft ammo, which makes perfect sense. Why would you not do that at the end of the day? And it just really does make a whole lot of sense, personally, if you just look at this and understand that at the end of the day, it does make sense for the Jets to say, all right, look, we're not even sure Breece would resign. What if he decides, I'm sick of losing, this Jets thing isn't working out, I'm going to go somewhere else? That's already possible. We can't pretend like it's not a possibility that happens. If that happens, it makes sense for Darren Mougey to just cut the costs and understand, yeah, we're probably only going to get a 4th for Breece, or maybe even a 5th, but at least we're not letting him walk for nothing. And then we move forwards and we get to see what Braylon Allen really has to work off of here. Allen on the season has 14 rush attempts with 50 yards, which is 3.6 yards per attempt, which is exactly his career average considering last season as well. He's got a touchdown on the year. So Allen would become the really RB1, though it would still be a committee. We'd see Isaiah Davis. We'd see a few more pieces as well kind of jump in there and see what happens. So it's obviously something the Jets have to consider, and it's something they're going to consider. I mean, the Jets didn't draft Breece, or the Jets regime right now didn't draft Breece, so there's less of a connection there, and it would make sense for them to move on from him. I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I'd actively be pretty surprised if Breece Hall doesn't get traded over the next couple of weeks. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Thank you so much for watching. Matt is still around. I'm just recording some videos because, well, I missed you guys. I missed talking Jets with you guys. So I'm back. Matt's still around. We're going to do duos as well. That's not gone. We're also going to do some watch-alongs for some of the games. You want to make sure to tune in for those. Me and Matt get very animated when we're talking about the Jets when they're on. It's very fun. It'll be a great time. If you watch Nick's Digest and see our happy hour show, it'll be very, very, very similar to that. So make sure to stay tuned for that as well. We're going to start the live streams. We're going to do some YouTube shorts. There's a lot of stuff that's happening on Jets Digest that you want to make sure to be subscribed for. But you guys don't need this long outro. Have a great day. Go Jets.